in the game. Down by 1. Brrr, he gets it. Mr. President?
Can I live?
You do you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, they went out to say YOLO, I think, and when he said, could I live, I did the whole segment before on this stupid video, and it being done on the same day, apparently, that Kayla Mueller was confirmed dead, and how disgusting it is, but I saved this part for last. You heard him say, can I live? And this was a YOLO. He says YOLO, man, or whatever. You only live once. I mean, could you think of anything more disgusting and inappropriate for the President of the United States to be doing on the day when they announce and confirm that a female hostage of ours was killed by ISIS? Joining us now, host of the Roger Hedgecock Show, syndicated radio Roger Hedgecock Show, Roger Hedgecock, and Democratic strategist and former Deputy Staff Secretary to President Clinton, David Goodfriend, neither one of which are my butt buddies, I might add, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. But I want to make that perfectly clear. Roger, I don't even know what to say. The guy plays golf after they announced James Foley's beheaded. Now he makes this cockamamie weird video, which is beneath the office, on the day that they announced that Kayla Mueller has been killed by ISIS. What's beneath him? Anything?
No, but it's not worth getting upset about. The guy's a goof. I mean, Reagan used to play president, and he was 100% accurate. He was right on. He did a great job. He put a lot of acting into it. This guy doesn't even have the acting skills to keep it together as a president worthy of the office. He isn't worthy of the office. And the first time he put his feet up on the desk and showed his foot beneath his shoes, the soles of his shoes, to the camera, the Arab world knew what his position was on the respect for that office. So it's pretty clear to me, and I don't get upset about it at all anymore. The guy's a goof.
What about it, David?
Well, I got very upset when President George W. Bush on a golf course said something about the Iraq War and then said, now watch this drive and hit the ball. I thought it was tasteless, but today I have a slightly different view, and that is there's never a good time to be lighthearted if you're president, because there's always something terrible going on, or you have to be lighthearted sometimes as the occasion calls for it, and it's always going to be juxtaposed against something in the world. In this case, the president is working on getting more young people to sign up for health insurance, and 5 million hits happened on that video that you just showed within a couple of hours. It is helping to get more young people signed up, so it's reaching its goal. You can find it inappropriate or not, just like I found President Bush's tee shot comment inappropriate or not, but the president has lots of different facets to his job, and this is one of them.
All right, well, of course, President Bush realized that whether it was that mistake or not that spurred him, he realized that it was inappropriate to play golf while the war was going on, and he stopped playing golf for years and years and years. Doesn't seem to bother this president. I don't want to throw you guys a curve at all, but I've been looking at CNN's reporting that President Obama responded to the killing of the 3 Muslim students in North Carolina. As you guys both know, we don't know. And we have no indication yet that they were targeted because they were Muslim. Authorities believe it was over a parking space. This guy is a lunatic. He's out of his mind. He did a horrific, horrific thing. But Obama weighed in, and if I have the quote right, here's the guy who won't prejudge. Here's the guy who, rabbis could be slaughtered with hatchets, and he shrugs. Our hostages could be slaughtered. A Jordanian hostage could be burned alive, and he calls them an organization, and he shrugs. But here, he said it was outrageous and no one should be targeted in America no matter who they are. Again, if that's an accurate quote, and that's what I got from CNN, I think he's assuming that they were targeted. Shouldn't we, David, wait for the investigation?
Look, I was very upset that President Obama did not go to Ferguson, Missouri. I thought he should have gone. And now in this case, you're saying, well, he's putting too much of a thumb on the scale. It's like the guy can't win with you guys no matter what he does.
No, wait, David, I never thought he should go to Ferguson. The guy was a thug.
Did.
Why should he go to Ferguson, Missouri?
I understand. Yeah, but the point is he didn't go because he thought that would be prejudging a case, and he probably was right, and I probably was wrong. My point is we can all second guess whether or not the president is putting his thumb on the scale or not. No matter what he says, I got a feeling you guys are going to say it's putting his thumb on the scale.
Roger, what about it?
Well,
the Jews at the kosher deli weren't targeted, but he's already implying he knows these people were.
Yeah, I think the Obama media was just ready to pounce on these 3 deaths, assuming that the old white guy was a Christian, and they could show that Obama's outrageous statements about the Crusades and the Inquisition, see, Christians are just as barbaric as ISIS. It turns out he's an atheist, and I didn't know atheists wanted to kill Muslims, but apparently they do. He's an atheist, he's a progressive, he's a Rachel Maddow fan. He's everything the New York Times tried to bury.
Right.
So
We're
these
coming
comments
back.
are
More of the
completely
panel.
out of line.
Roger and David coming back. All right, folks, we're rejoined by the Malzberg panel, the host of the syndicated Roger Hedgecock radio show, Roger Hedgecock, and Democratic strategist, former Deputy Staff Secretary to President Clinton, David Goodfriend. All right, Brian Williams, guys, is at it again. More revelations reported today that Brian Williams said that he was at the Berlin Wall when it went down. Apparently, he was there shortly after. But Tom Brokaw was the only network correspondent for NBC News that was there. Actually, the only network correspondent, period, I believe. So he was there the day after, they're now saying. He says when he was a college student in '79, he met the Pope. Pope John Paul II, and is given varying accounts on how, once he said he became friendly with a Secret Service agent who helped finagle it. The other time he said he was just at the right place, the right time. He, of course, said he was embedded with SEAL Team 6. He said that the SEALs had sent him a souvenir, a portion of the helicopter they had to blow up when they got Osama bin Laden because it was a disabled helicopter. Roger, seriously, all kidding aside, I'm no doctor, but I would say it borders on some kind of mental illness at this point.
As these things come out, it's obvious that Brian Williams is not coming back. But it needs to be said that truth has always been a stage prop for the Obama media. If you remember the Dan Rather and the Bush AWOL issue, in which Dan Rather, even after the documents he was relying on turned out to be forgeries, he said, well, it wasn't, but it should have been. The case that he was AWOL. So I think this is something that has again been revealed over and over. These anchors are put in a position where their job is to manipulate the news.
Yeah, David?
Well, I think what Brian Williams has done, if it's true, and it seems like it is really awful, and it's not becoming of any journalist. And I would love to see the same fact-checking scrutiny applied to Fox News, because I think we could have a good time with that one.
Really?
Well,
Well, do you have any? You have examples
Yes, I do.
of specific Fox News reporters? Go ahead, give me one example.
Yes. So, according to Media Matters, which is a group devoted to policing.
Yeah, we know who
Media
Media Matters is, David. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So, according to Media Matters, the more people watch Fox, the less informed about the facts they become.
Okay, all right, David, time out. David, with all due respect, David, with all due respect, David,
actual facts.
David, with all due respect, I said, do you have a specific example? And you said, yes, I do. And now you're telling me some left-wing group says the more they watch Fox, the less informed they are. Where's your specific example of a Brian Williams type lie?
When Fox News invited a guest on to say that the city of Paris had no-go zones, Fox News later had to come on and apologize for their own reporting and failure to show the fallacy of those facts. And the reason they did it was because they were about to be
I got to
sued.
tell you. Well, I got to tell you, there are many people who claim that that maybe the exact location that they claimed had no-go zones, but there are lots of people writing and talking about no-go zones in Paris, in Great Britain. We had Robert Spencer on yesterday, from Jihad Watch, who talked about the fact that in the UK, up to 1 million girls have been kidnapped, raped, and sold into sex slavery, and the UK government and media is covering it up. So that's hardly a Brian Williams-like example, Roger.
So wait, let me get this straight.
Steve.
You're putting Brian Williams' misrepresentations on the same scale as what I'm accusing Fox News of doing. But you're saying Fox News, they're perfectly fine. It's NBC
Steve.
News that's really the problem here. Come on,
No,
you're
I'm
better
not saying
than
any
that.
of that. Roger, go ahead.
First of all, Steve, look, first of all, the incident in which there was assertions about the no-go zone in Birmingham, England, part of Birmingham is a no-go zone. The guest, not the reporter, not the anchor at Fox, the guest, Governor Jindal of Louisiana, and that segment said it was the entire city of Birmingham. Well, they went back and corrected that. We're not talking about, this is a complete misrepresentation. Fox News, you don't have a single instance in which an anchor, particularly the managing editor and the overall anchor of any of the shows on Fox, has ever made this kind of exaggeration, let's say, or flat out lie about their reporting. That thing was Bobby Jindal, not one of their reporters.
Well, actually, I was referring to the reporting prior to when Bobby Jindal went on the air, and a so-called military analyst was brought on, and the anchors agreed.
Not a reporter.
Look, all I'm saying is, I would love.
All you're saying is you're trying to confuse us.
So hold on a second. I would love to see the same scrutiny, because this is good scrutiny. We should
let's
absolutely scrutinize.
Let's scrutinize. I'll bring up Steve's question. Do you have a single instance in which this kind of thing is going on?
For Fox Business, for CNBC, I'd love to have the same.
Give us an example.
Apply to everybody. I just did.
As a matter of fact, David, as a matter of fact, I'd love to take you up on that. And okay. Maybe Media Matters will commission, will commission a study of all the baloney reporting during Katrina and see how many other liberal left-wing reporters on site made things up. That's what I'd like to see studied.
It's you should call for it, and I'll join you. We should both call.
All right. What about, you want to join the call, Roger?
Absolutely, and I'd love to see an analysis of any reporter or anchor, which David has not done today, that ever made any kind of misrepresentation on the level of, hey, I was at the Brandenburg Gate, or I was with Pope John Paul II, or I was there when the H-bomb went off. Who knows what this guy's been saying?
Yeah, and of course he was being attacked by gangs in the stairwell of the hotel and had to be rescued.
At the Ritz-Carlton.
Only problem is nobody.
Give me a break.
Well,
right,
no,
nobody confirms that.
In all seriousness, and I think this has been pointed out by lots of different people, not just me. It would have been wonderful to see the media this upset about the jingoistic reporting that went on during the Gulf War, when Iraq was being invaded on a false premise and nobody in media was called to account for it. That's horrible.
All right, yes, by the way, David, let me just point out, you keep saying it's a false premise. David, there were stories in the New York Times and Washington Post recently about, wait a minute, about soldiers who have suffered the ill effects of weapons of mass destruction, chemical weapons that they encountered in Iraq. So maybe you should do some new research on that. Guys, we don't have much time left. Very quickly, 20 seconds each. Chris Christie's approval rating in New Jersey is lower than ever. Roger, does that matter if he decides to run?
I don't think it does. It's part of a smear campaign that's coming out against any Republican that's going to be running against the coronation of Hillary Clinton. You're going to see it against Scott Walker and Jindal and all the rest of them. Chris Christie, yes, he's a horrible and evil man and all of that. You're going to hear that every single day from the Obama media. What about it, David? Final word.
Christie is damaged goods. Jeb Bush will be the nominee.
All right, guys, love it on a Friday. All right, and I didn't have a chance to get to Joe Biden's butt buddy, but hey, we'll have to take my word for it. FCC commissioner next. Regulation of the internet? I'm not kidding, and neither is he. Don't miss it.